Hi guys, and welcome to the video. So really there are no Doctor Who spin-offs at all at the moment. We lost Class, we lost Torchwood, and we've lost the Sarah Jane Adventures. And I really do miss the idea of a Doctor Who spin-off, especially in a year where we've had our one and only Doctor Who episode. So at some point I really would like to see another Doctor Who spin-off series make it to air. So today I thought I would just discuss 10 ideas I have for a spin-off. Now these ideas aren't in any particular order. I like all of these in any order you like, and also some of these could be an ongoing series and some of these could be a 6 to 10 episode one-off series, but you know, it's up to you guys to discuss it in the comments, see what ideas you like and see what ideas you don't. So first off, probably the most obvious idea would be a Torchwood revival. Now Sarah Jane Adventures series revival wouldn't really work, and the interest from the general public in Class really wasn't enough to get another series out of that, which I do understand. However, everyone does seem really interested in Torchwood. I think everyone does want to see Captain Jack and Gwen return, and I think this would be a really good spin-off that I'd love to see come back, because I do enjoy Torchwood. I would enjoy seeing the gang back together again. So I think this is a prime idea for a spin-off to come back for at least one more series. So my next idea would be a First Doctor series, because now we have David Bradley, and David Bradley seems quite available these days, especially now he doesn't have to do his Game of Thrones role anymore. I think David Bradley doing a First Doctor series would be brilliant. Now there are many ideas I have for this series. I think we could just see the First Doctor on some more adventures. I think it'd be nice to see adventures from him, from a modern day writer, just get some more depth from his era. Or another idea that's been floated around by some people is that he recreates some of the lost episodes, which I think would be a fantastic idea, so we still get to experience those lost episodes to the best recreation that we can. So I think overall I'd love to see a First Doctor series. Now in a similar vein to that, at number 3 is an 8th Doctor series. Now, Paul McGann never really got his chance to shine because, of course, his TV movie was a bit crap, but his short for the 50th was really incredible and shows he's still passionate about this role and still wants to give it his all if he ever gets the chance. And I think, yeah, everyone would love to see an 8th Doctor series. So yeah, I would really enjoy that, and I do hope that happens. So next is probably a slightly less obvious one, but I'd really like a unit spin-off. I think you could maybe you could do this with the Brigadier and Benton and all the Third Doctor characters, maybe recast, but I think I'd much prefer this with Kate and Osgood, just because I think recasting those classic characters is too far, because those are such iconic characters. I think I'd really like to see these characters back, because I really do enjoy the Kate and Osgood characters, and I think they could have some great adventures, and it follows the sort of Torchwood vibe where you're doing things that you're defending the Earth when the Doctor isn't around, and I think that kind of fits with the premise because the Doctor can't be around all the time. But yeah, I think that has a chance to maybe be available for slightly younger viewers, which is nice because Doctor Who is supposed to be a family-friendly show. Now, this idea is sort of linked with number 5, and I think you could amalgamate these two ideas, but I put them as separate ideas. But what I'd really like to see is a continued exploration of the Zygon conflict that was introduced throughout the 50th and then in a two-parter in Series 9. I think you could integrate this with the unit characters, and I don't think I'd necessarily need to see multiple series of this, but I can certainly see a 6-episode mini-series which talks about more of the arguments between the Zygons and humanity. I think you can have some really interesting ideas play out, but then again, I would also like to see those ideas return in the show, even though I'm not sure Chris Chibnall would really venture into that. So next at number 6, I'd really like to see a Time War series. Again, we got to see a bit of that in the 50th, but I think there are lots of interesting ideas to explore. I think you can have a lot of the action of the Time War, and then I think there are a lot of political ideas to be discussed. I think if there was an alright bit of budget thrown behind this, I think you could do something along the lines of Game of Thrones, where, because I know they wouldn't be able to quite get those sorts of budgets, but you could have a bit of action, but then there'd be a lot of politics going on, and Game of Thrones has shown us that the politics of some arguments can be really interesting, and I think some of the politics behind the Time War would really help to strengthen an era that we really don't know much about. So yeah, I'd really like to see that. Next, this is a bit similar to the Time War series, but it's a bit more outside the box. I'd really like to see, almost weirdly, almost a Rogue One style war series just set in the Doctor Who universe. So it could almost be a base under siege, but with, say, Daleks attacking or Cybermen attacking, but that could just be a mini series. I don't think I've explained that idea particularly well. I just think showing the struggles of regular people fighting against the side that they can't really win against without the Doctor to help them, I think that could make for some really interesting ideas, and it's just another spot in the Doctor Who universe that we can explore. It doesn't even have to be Daleks, it can be base under siege with Cybermen, base under siege with Sontarans. I think that would be a really, really nice, fun idea. Then at number 8, this idea I'm not particularly convinced by, but I think this is more of an obvious idea for a spin-off, and that's a Clara and Me spin-off, because at the end of series 9, of course, they fly away in the diner TARDIS. I don't think this would happen, mainly because Jenna Coleman is quite busy these days, but I think this could be an interesting idea. There's definitely some things you can do to explore that. I personally wouldn't like to see it, but I think, yeah, this is definitely a valid idea, and I certainly wouldn't turn off the TV if it came on. Then, a pairing of characters that I'd be more interested to see would be a Martha and Mickey spin-off. Now, I know these characters haven't appeared in a long time, but I think, as at the end we saw at the end of Time Part 2, they're together, they're married, and they had a brilliant dynamic in that scene, and I reckon this pairing works very well. I don't know if the actors would come back, but I haven't seen them very much. I don't think they're that busy, so I think they would be up for this project if they offered it, and also think it'd be nice for big fans of the RTD era to get a leap back into that era with some of those characters that do work quite well. And then finally, this is just an idea from the most recent series, Series 11. I think in the finale we did get introduced to very interesting characters called the Ucks, and I think, yeah, I'd be very interested to see. I don't know if you set it with those characters or whether you do it more as a flashback series, their ancestors or their origins, but I think there are definitely some very interesting concepts to explore with the Ucks characters, and I think, yeah, you could definitely make a spin-off out of that. Probably not one of these out of the list I would be most excited to see, but yeah, I think that's a series that definitely could work out. So those were 10 ideas for spin-offs. Please discuss these in the comments, whether you like them, whether you don't, whether they should be mini-series or maybe just a mini-series. Also, if you have any of your own ideas, I'd love to discuss those ideas in the comments. Please like, please subscribe. I'm happy to have a chat with anyone in the comments, and thank you for watching.
This is Will and E, and if you're not already subscribed to the Nerdy Brit, right, you should be, right? If you're not, you're a loser too.